Hi boys and girls, it's Miss Ilaria here from Kids Fans at Stanford Hospital. Today I want to talk to you about fat. Here's a question, should we eat fat? We actually should. Fats are considered an essential nutrient, meaning a substance that our bodies need to stay healthy. But unlike sugar and salt, not all fats are created equal. Some are better for us than others. So how do we know? I'm going to give you 2 tips. First off, if the fat is liquid at room temperature, like oils, think vegetable oil, canola oil, olive oil, it's generally healthy. If it's solid at room temperature, think of butter, cream cheese, vegetable shortenings, it's generally not good for you. Tip number 2, if it comes from a plant, it's generally good. If it comes from an animal, not so good. So think about butter comes from milk, which comes from a cow. Now let me show you what that looks like inside our bodies. It's one of my favorite experiments. I'm going to take a straw, and the straw represents our veins. So imagine the fat going through our bodies, right, during digestion. Well, if you dip your straw into the liquid fat, what you're going to see is that it actually drips. So what that is showing you, it doesn't clog your veins. Now I'm going to do that same experiment with my butter, okay, or any solid fat. And what you're going to see here, it doesn't drip, it clogs. So that's a really simple way to see why liquid fats are better for you and your body. So you'll see that there are a lot of different types of fats. Some of my favorite fats, avocado and nuts. I love them. Now, what you're going to see is my rule of thumb doesn't always apply both ways. And what I mean is they're not liquid at room temperature, but they do come from a plant. So these are actually really good, healthy fats. Here's a fun experiment you could try at home. On one side, I put some chips, and on the other side, I put some pretzels. And what I want to see is, of these 2 snack foods, are they high in fat or are they low in fat? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to dump those off. And what you see is what's left on the paper. You see how the chips, how it's greasy? Pretzels, not greasy. So that's just kind of a fun way. You can do that experiment at home to see if it's high in fat. You can feel it on your fingers too. Now you may notice if you have a high fat meal, and I always think of like a fast food meal, you may realize that you're actually kind of full for a long time. So let me show you what that looks like inside your body. All right, so here I have a glass of water. Okay, so imagine that's your blood. Now I'm gonna add a little bit of oil to that. Okay, so that now is my fat. And what you see is that it doesn't mix. Do you see that? Those are big globules of fat that don't mix. And you add a little bit more. So what you see is it takes a while for that fat to actually digest. And what our body produces is something called bile, which works like an emulsifier, which basically means it mixes the oil and the blood together. And a natural emulsifier is actually an egg yolk. So I'm going to put that in and mix it together. And what you see all of a sudden is that they mix. And that's how fat digests.